Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. And today is the 81st the 81st episode of this entire 1 year 365. And we're close to a quarter of it, which would be on 91st. So another, we'll have 10 more videos before we get to reach the first chapter, the first phase of the first phase of um, the entire series, right? And um, it will be something in the 91st episode. Can't wait for that to happen. But for now, let's actually discuss something, right? Before we go there, we need to do what is here right now, right? And for today's discussion, this is a little bit, if you read the title of this video, um, it's basically will say if you're bad at something, then you're good at something else, right? So that's basically it. If you're no, it's actually yeah. If you're bad at something, you're good at something else. So this is like a concept that um, I thought, in the past few years, basically saying that if you have something weakness or something like that, then you'll have strength in other aspects. So this idea came to me first after I watched vsauce video. If you guys remember vsauce, it's like the best channel in talking about lots of stuff, right? That it's basically like your bookworm thing, or I don't know what it's called, like the one that will give you lots of information, basically like your brain will get exploded or mind blown by those facts, and just lots of random uh, ideas or knowledge, right? And I remember one of its video is about uh it's about uh I forgot what the title is about. I think it's about the trait of cognitives or something like that. It's basically saying that if your part of body is it's not fully functional, then your other part of body will um, be stronger or will function better than that. I think that's what it's about, if I recall correctly, right? So let me note down. I'll probably link the video of that video in the description of this video as well, so you can kind of get the point, or the source of this idea. So the reason why I'm talking about this is because I just kinda remember back then in 2016. It's like in my first year of university, and I was an active student, right? I joined a lot of organizations and stuff like that, and one of them, the the student organization, we had a project in which we visit school of disability, basically like school for disabled people, right. And by that I mean, yeah, there's just a lot of lots of kinds of disabled people, right? Like the for instance, people that cannot see, or the blind people, right? And then there's also like people who cannot speak, and then people that cannot hear anything. and then there's also people with hyperactivity and stuff like that. And basically it's not really for adults, it's more like kids basically. So it's like, consider this as an elementary school, but for people, I mean kids, elementary school for kids with unique, um unique, basically like unique needs, right? Like special needs, I mean. And it kind of reminded me that when I went there with my friends, obviously with my seniors as well, we just had lots of games, right? Like, um, we're like students like from university, and we visit those kids like elementaries, and we basically try to like teach a lot of things, right? As well as doing some games as well. And it was quite fun and all, right? It's also, there's also a moment where personally I felt like very very sad, but not sad in negative way, sad in like, um what is it called, like, you feel sad but in positive way. Why positive way? Because I can see, at that time I could see the potential of these kids, because they're actually, something, for me at least. Because the reason the title is called, if you're bad at something, you're good at something else, right? So what I learned from this kid is that, you know uh there's just a lot of disabled kids, right? Like handicapped kids and as like that. And they know each other well enough. And there in that school, everyone is just helping each other out. Like one kid that cannot see, then he needed to walk, right? Therefore his friend that is not able to speak, directed him by holding his hand basically, and then they can walk together, right? And stuff like this that make me feel touched. Yeah, I think it's called touching, right? It's very touching. And you know when you go to a regular elementary school, the kids are like, they're all usually normally normal kids, right? They're able to do something with anything, right? Because they have a complete or perfect part of body that functions properly, right? But this one in this disabled school, there is something else. They also can do things that normal kids can do, and but this in their own ways, right? And it's great to see them actually helping each other out. And when we play games as well, when one of them cannot see, and his friend basically tells him everything that he's seeing, right? So that the kids that unfortunately cannot see, know what's going on. And it's, yeah, it's actually like, I was quite, what is it, like, this is like, that was like my first experience, um experience in having such thing, right? I have never been to disabled school in my entire life, never actually saw disabled kids actually do something, right, in school and stuff like that. And I was always thought that, um I have always thought that these kids couldn't go to school because they're like, they couldn't understand the lesson, right? Like, the teachers, the knowledge that will be given to them will be very far more difficult compared to normal kids taking it in normal school, right? But yeah, the first time I went there, it's like, it's something basically. And it's already been like, well, technically it's been 6 years from now, right? Like back then, and I actually felt curious about how they're doing right now, especially the kids that we met in back then. Like they're still kids, right? Probably 6 years from then, which is now, is they're probably at either middle school or high school, right? And I'm actually right now kind of curious how they're doing, but unfortunately, like the school that I visited, it's very far away from where I am right now. Like it was near the university. Well, even it's not near. It's like half an hour, like basically 30 minutes away from my university, and my university from my home is like, you know it's miles away, basically. Like it will take like 3 or 4 hours just to go to my university, and then additional 30 minutes, even 1 hour, just to go there, right? And yeah, so we're just basically like 6 hour apart from each other, and the fact that also they're already graduated, right? Hopefully, and they're already gone, right? And I mean, I can still ask the teachers, and but still they're like somewhere there, right? And I'm actually quite curious about how they're doing right now. um Personally, I have never been in touch or in the connection of people like disabled people, like that, like that's the first time I dealt with them and their kids, right? So I am curious about what about the adults too, right? Like uh disabled adults, basically. I'm kind of curious and wonder like the special place for them, right? Like maybe they have like like a community place, basically. Like when for children, it's like, for the kids it's school, right? Maybe for the adults they also have something like a community center where they do things together, right? I'm kind of quite curious about that as well. I mean, here in my city, at least in the town that I'm in, probably there's a lot of place about this community. But yeah, I've never been there personally. But yeah, that's that. But um, you know, the point is, from all of that, I got something, right? There is something that I can get from that, and it is the fact that if those, people with weakness or disability, if they can do something, then we as the normal people can do something as well, right? They figuring out their weaknesses, which is obviously their disability, right? But they're not making it as their weakness. They try to do something, and be good at something else, basically. Like um again, like I said, people who cannot speak uh, probably is better at seeing something, right, or hearing something, and that's just how nature is, I believe. And different with normal people, they're kind of have to figure it out themselves, right? Like what they're bad at and then what they're good at, right? And yeah, the whole point of this video is basically, if you're bad at something, you must be good at something else. And I believe in this, and I think this is like a fact as well. Um, you know, um, yeah, like I, even though I still don't know about myself, right? What's I'm good at, what's I'm bad at, right? But like as of now, um I kinda see where I'm going, as in, you know, I I've been trying to, after I graduated from a university, I've been having a lot of difficulties in, getting a proper job, right? Like doing those 9 to 5 job, or basically, or here in my place it's like 7 to 4 job basically. uh and yeah, I got, basically rejected a lot of times at this point. And I believe that if I'm bad at that, then I must be good at something else, right? I believe that some other people can actually value me for something that I have, but I haven't figured out what that is just yet. But yeah, uh, and that's on me, right? And I believe the same thing is also happening to you guys. Like, if if you're bad at something, don't be sad about it. I believe that at some other aspect you're very good at it. And yeah, and that's just how it is, right? Like, take a look at an athlete, like your national athlete, or the athlete that do, like, for instance, the Olympics, right? They're good at something, right? Like, for instance, they're good at running, or uh, I cannot draw a person running, but yeah, you got the point. Like, they're good at running, right? So uh that them in their, they in itself, in their self themselves, I believe they also have something that they cannot do, right? Like, I don't know what that would be. Maybe, when they can run but they cannot swim, probably, right? And that's I think how it is, right? Like, basically, like, if someone is good at something, that's also mean that person is also bad at something, right? And I think that's like the main concept of the original vsauce video that I watched, where like, they're talking about physical, I believe, like, yeah, physical stuff. But I also think that it also applies to non-physical thing, like, as in ability. Because, I've been studying about engineering for a while, right? And what I believe is that everything works in balance, basically. Like, uh, everything should be in balance. Like, basically, if you think about it, like an analogy in games, like, your character has stats, right? And basically these stats will differ from one character to another character, right? Maybe they have a little HP, but they have very high speed, and then they also have some ability, like combat or something like that, right? And this value, I believe, for everyone, for every single human, is the same. Like, they all have the same final value, right? And um but they also can train and practice, so that they can be good at something. When, just like when this guy have very low HP, then they can improve their HP, right, by also by sacrificing something else, right? And yeah, and I think this is what I believe, like, every human will have uh the same amount of value of their stats. And if someone's bad at something, then I believe that same person also is very good at something else. And yeah, that's just how I believe. And let me know down what you think about this idea. Do you agree or do you not agree, right? Like, just maybe reflect it to yourself first, like what you're good at. And if you're good at something, I believe you're also bad at something, right? And if you're feeling like you cannot do something or you're feeling bad at something, then I believe you must be good at something. Like again, like in school probably, where maybe your scores are not as great as your friends, but I believe you have something more. Like maybe you're an active person that can actually talk properly in public, basically a speaker, right? You're a speaker type of person. Maybe that's who you are. Or maybe you don't excel at learning about physics or maths, but you're good at sports. So yeah, there's that, right? Maybe, right? um, Maybe you're good at listening to people. Like you hear lots of people, right, with their problem, but uh you cannot really deliver how you want to tell them how to solve the problems, right? Like you have difficulties in speaking the words, like probably, right? And yeah, all sorts of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I believe uh we're all the same value. And yeah, and that's about it. So I think that'll be it for today's discussion about, if you're bad at something, you're good at something else. And I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you again tomorrow with another discussion, and goodbye.